This is a Clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud live with you here again on this Saturday morning, tracking another severe thunderstorm warning. It's that storm that is impacting portions of Duval County right now until 10 a.m. That's when the warning does expire here. That just got issued from the National Weather Service in Jacksonville. At 9:36, the severe thunderstorm was located over UNF moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Jacksonville, UNF, Arlington, Jacksonville Beach, Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach, Bay Meadows, Mayport, Craigfield, and San Pablo under this warning. So make sure you're inside and you're away from windows here in toward that area right now. And I'll give you a heads up on this. We were on earlier on with the other warning for Nassau, and this did intensify enough for a warning to be required until 10 a.m. here for portions of Duval County. You know, some wind enhancement here right in the ward areas just east of downtown. That's what we're tracking right now. So I'm just kind of looking between some of the different modes here. Definitely got to be inside and away from windows here right now in parts of Duval County. So make sure you're taking heed here of this warning. Damaging winds seem to be the main threat with this. Penny-sized hail could also occur, but that would be technically just sub-severe as we're looking at the different criteria. So again, just trying to make sure you're taking precautions here this morning with all this. Let's try to pull up a camera into the St. John's Town Center, maybe, give or take. We'll try to pull up a camera in that vicinity, and you'll get an idea of the inclement conditions here in just one moment. This is live view right here now. As we're tracking the situation, we're going to be watching the storm set on and off until, maybe later on Monday here across our area with severe potential from time to time, all the way, through Monday pretty much. So make sure you're staying weather aware here as we're in alert mode. We have that logo ready to even tornado threats from time to time. So not seeing that right now necessarily. But, there's a little bit of weak rotation. There's not a tornado possible tag on this one like there was for the Nassau County warning. We're going to have waves of severe weather of concern, waves of strong to severe weather potentially here as we look ahead over the next, let's say 60 hours or so, on and off. So again, just have to be very mindful here. You're going to have some flooding here. Definitely going to have to be paying attention to that. And we're going to be having to be with you at all hours, on and off. So again, let's go ahead and move here away from this as we're tracking that here this morning. And looking around the University of North Florida with this and headed right toward those coastal areas. Again, tracking all this, moving into like Atlantic Beach, Jax Beach there. Right now, some of the strongest wind is around, it looks like 9A there, and A1A. As we're looking where that area intersects there on the map. I know, we're talking about a rotation, the tail end of this. Quite honestly, this morning kind of, was maybe right on the edge of incorporating that area down there, but we definitely have that overall complex here with this and maybe areas further a little bit north here, a little bit more into this. But again, we're going to watch that. We're going to watch some of the other strong or storms, or just what you would call thunderstorms. But a lot of this complex is going to get off the coast here soon. We're watching it in eastern Nassau. That was in central Nassau earlier on. That's around Fernandina Beach. So be careful there. That could be pretty strong. Gusts there 40, 50 miles an hour. Not out of the question in that area. But as we're looking there, we're going to watch some of this action further off to see if we get more warnings with it. As we're tracking things. Now, there's something else I want to pull up that is unrelated here, it would seem. But let me go ahead. We just got some word of something there in East Tennessee, actually, that has been impacting some folks in North Georgia. And believe it or not, that is an earthquake that was reported here this hour. A 4.1 is what was indicated there. As of what I saw a moment ago, we're getting ready to do this cut in for our local weather. Not necessarily for an area, I can't imagine, but I'm going to try to see if it'll come up. It may not, actually. I was hoping it would on this system. is set to show earthquakes here as I switch some things up. But there was a magnitude 4.1 earthquake there reported just a little while ago. A lot of folks felt in North Georgia, some of those in the Atlanta TV market even feeling an earthquake up there. So I'll see if I can get something pulled up on another system here for you in just a second to show that. I mean, that's pretty impressive there. Unfortunately, not overwhelming. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's not going to cause that much damage here, but it's just, something that's not exactly an area you generally would see an earthquake here as we're looking at things this morning. So, as we're kind of tracking things. So we're going to try to effort that information here for you. I'm going to go ahead and pull this in on a different source then. You may not show it quite right, but we're just going to kind of show it to you. This is from the USGS site here. At first they had it a little lower, but they went to a 4.1. You see that there, the red dot there. This is south of Knoxville, Tennessee. There, where this earthquake was reported at 9:04 a.m. And folks in North Georgia, like around Lawrenceville, based on Twitter/X, is preliminarily looking like some folks down there felt the earthquake. So that's I'll put my cursor on here. So that's way down in here. If you can see that, you can't see that. Okay, you can't see the cursor, but I'll zoom in on it. So down in here, that's Lawrenceville. Way down in here. And we'll go ahead and zoom on out, and you see that red dot toward the north there. So that's pretty impressive. A 4.1 magnitude, is what we're down with there. Magnitude 4.1 earthquake there in East Tennessee that was felt in North Georgia this morning. Just hearing some of that information coming on in as we're looking at some of this. I know folks like around Dalton, Georgia, for instance, feeling that. It wasn't too far away from Maryville, Tennessee with that earthquake. So, interesting. That's not what you would expect me to be talking about this morning. I wasn't expecting to talk about that, but that's the storyline there. So as we go ahead and get back on over it, we have the Severe Thunderstorm Warning for another 8 minutes for parts of Duval County. We were watching this carefully here as we impact, with this storm areas like Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach, and Jax Beach here. Don't be out, at the beach right now in this type of weather. It can be very dangerous. And then as we're looking here, eastern Nassau County, we're just going to continue to track it. That's an advisory there versus the warning down here. That goes for another few minutes. As we watch some stuff, further out here, I'm going to pull this back in. Still got a ways to go with that back there, but hopefully we'll get a little low. Be able to catch my breath here, and we haven't been on that long, but still having to kind of keep an eye on things on and off through the night. We had a couple tornado warnings out toward the Mobile area, so not something I needed to be on for, but was looking at that information as it was coming on in. I know today, I'm going to switch to our graphics here in just a second. This morning, is that 1 year anniversary of tragedy there toward Tallahassee with the deadly tornado sequence that moved on through there. This is the radar from about 7 o'clock, 7:07 a.m. That's when it says on my thing here. I know the radar went down at some point in there, but this is what it was looking like during the coverage there. With all those tornado warnings, we had multiple confirmed tornado touchdowns there, 3 at one time, even based on debris signatures and some really very significant weather there. This was May 10th, 2024. We had the tornado warnings last year. That's the coverage of the tornado warning right now. I just have that tip information up from the coverage from last year. But that's what you need to do, obviously, if you are in one. But again, I just continue to track everything here. You see Jacksonville, Craigwinnis Airport there, a gust of 19 miles an hour. Could end up having a little bit stronger, if not quite a bit stronger winds though, as we're looking towards some of these areas, and that does include areas like Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach, and Jax Beach. So again, let me go ahead and let's see what we might have here. See if there's some camera views I can pull up in the vicinity. Oh, this would be a good one here toward the intracoastal. Okay, we're going to pull this one on in as we are getting a little bit closer toward the coast here. Not as many right near the coast, but this one, is right there at the intercoastal, so it's a good shot. Good visual on what's going on here in eastern Duval County with the severe thunderstorm warning. See these dark skies here this morning. Definitely ominous looking. Folks needing their lights on because things are so dark in this type of situation. It's got to be very mindful here of what's going on. Severe weather moving on in there as we're looking at things in eastern Duval County. Eastern parts of Jacksonville, of course, if you're not familiar with our area, technically all of Duval County is considered Jacksonville. I know that's a little interesting, it's not what most places are like, but that's just how it works there with the way things are consolidated. Been like that for a long time there. So technically all Duval County is considered Jacksonville. As we go ahead and continue to watch things here, let me go ahead and try to give you guys the latest updates. Again, trying to give you guys the latest information. Just trying to see what we're dealing with here. Some of this wind enhancement, they might have to, honestly, I don't know if they think the winds are strong enough, but if they do, they probably have to extend it to like 10-15 with another polygon here. So we'll see what they decide to do here in just a few seconds. They may not think it's quite strong enough. We shall see. I'm just checking some things behind the scenes here. And there was a report of 1/4 inch sized hail there observed in the vicinity of Mandarin at about 9:30. Just reading over some more information. Okay, they're going to expire a warning. I don't think it quite maybe meets the severe criteria. As we look ahead anymore, I know it's been up and down with that, some of this activity. So expiring the warning. But I know we're just been paying attention. We haven't had too many of these lately. Some of these in more populated areas. So thought we'd be with you on this. Let me just kind of, hate to take it off here, and then all of a sudden we get another quick warning, and then, by the time we can get back on, it'll be off the coast. So let's stick with this in at least another few minutes. We'll go a little past 10 with this here. But a heads up, whether it's severe officially or not, and they could get a gust, and then all of a sudden prompts a new warning here, like 10-15, a severe type or close to severe type gust. But Atlantic Beach, Jacksonville Beach, Neptune Beach, we're going to be seeing, nasty conditions here moving on in over the next few moments, whether there's a warning or not. So be inside and away from windows there in eastern Duval County. Got that dangerous lightning in there as well. As we're tracking things, as we're monitoring things, definitely very important to keep in mind. I see advisory for 45 to 55 mile-an-hour winds, and then pea-sized hail. I know they're saying lightning can strike 10 miles away from a thunderstorm, so seek shelter inside a building or vehicle. I know, just be very mindful of that. Definitely take heed. Again, trying to give you the updates. It's 10 a.m. here on this Saturday morning. Still could have wind about 55 miles an hour in toward this area right near the coast. Watching 55 further up as well. That's what, the max potential seems to be at this moment, which is just technically under severe, but just got to be really careful here as we're looking at things. We'll try to pull that camera view up again toward the intercoastal. Definitely shows some nasty weather conditions here on the Florida 511 perspective. This is a live look at the conditions. Technically not a severe thunderstorm warning anymore, but it's just under that. So not fun weather there. Not fun weather in that area for sure. See the camera starting to shake a little, it looks like. As those winds pick up. So that's the storyline there. Again, I'm just trying to monitor this here for you. I know we had that warning in play. Not anymore though, but definitely some strong winds in northeastern Duval, eastern Duval. So again, we'll keep watching and keep track. I think we're going to wrap it back up. I just, it's a situation here where unless it's a tornado warning unless we get some type of really quick, tornado warning, if it's a real quick severe thunderstorm warning, it probably won't pop back in because by the time I do, it'd be over with pretty much toward that area. But we'll keep watching that. We'll watch the stuff out to the west, and later today, and then tomorrow and Sunday. Tomorrow is Sunday, but later, into tomorrow, and then on that Monday, we'll have to watch as well. So later today, tomorrow, this Sunday, Mother's Day, of course, and then on that Monday, we'll need to be watching here for that severe weather concern as well. So stay tuned, stay safe. We'll keep you guys up to date here as we're looking at things, as we're tracking things. But it's going to wrap it up for now. I do see some of these spots, in the low to mid 70s. That's not really warm here, but we still do have some instability here. So we'll be watching that. I mean, it looks like some rain caught there in Columbia Union right now, so that can kind of limit its threat, but may bring some rain. Need some rain here, that's for sure, towards some of these different backyards. So, but eventually we won't need the rain if we get too much, possibly. So it's again that give and take, as we've talked about here. But just want to make sure we can get a little rain here. I know different wildfire threats setting up in parts of the country, so just always have to be mindful of that. Even Central Florida had one get going. Looking there, some of the reports this morning. So just be very careful. But that's going to do it for now. We'll be back here as warranted. Stay tuned, everybody, to the latest updates on all the different platforms. Stay safe whenever thunder roars go into